I don't come from a community that regularly produces doctors, lawyers, Wall Street executives, and the like. As the artist Lil Baby put it, we usually get it out the mud. What does that mean? It means we rarely have the bare necessities to aspire beyond the casino, the retail, and the chemical plant work, yet we still rise to the occasion. It means we have to scratch and claw for the bare minimum in every area, whether it's education, economics, healthy foods, and every other social determinant of health. Moreover, it's been that way for a very long time. Essentially, we are bootless, yet told to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, as Dr. Martin Luther King put it on June 11, 1967, in the special After Civil Rights, Black Power. You see, I am from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Why is where I'm from so crucial? Medicine lacks the perspective of folks from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Medicine also lacks the perspective of folks from the lower Ninth Ward of New Orleans, the south side of Chicago, Barry Farms in southeast Washington, D.C., South Central L.A., the Fifth Ward of Houston, Texas. I think you get my drift. The neighborhoods we come from don't have a loud voice in medicine. As a result, medical school classes aren't nearly as diverse as claimed to be. Consequently, that lack of diversity contributes to the problem of patient-physician cultural and racial discordance in minority communities. I'm one of the first ones from where I'm from to make it this far, and it's been as hard as you can imagine, and then some. As one would expect, my community is beyond proud of me. Yet the community also has an expectation for me. My grandmother would always tell me, young man, no matter how far you go in life, don't you ever forget where you came from. I interpreted that in two ways. First, I needed to keep my cultural identity that I came from intact no matter where my feet made footprints. Secondly, there was a debt I owed my community to be a force for change and actually present in that same community. I promised my grandmother and my community that I would represent them no matter where I went. I promised I would come back. And lastly, I promised I would tell our story our way. When it was time for me to write a personal statement for residency applications, I nearly crumbled. That's quite strange taking into account all that I have accomplished. I'm a 10-year United States Navy veteran. I got 2 degrees from Southern University, a Howard Hughes funded NYU trained cancer scientist, graduating Tulane trained physician, the co-founder of a nationally recognized nonprofit, the 15 White Coats. Lest we forget, I'm also happily married, and I have 2 beautiful children. I should have a ton to discuss, yet I had some real soul searching to do. I had to ask some hard questions like, who are you really doing all of this for? And why do you need to do this? Haven't you done enough already? Is what you are going to write going to impress program directors? One of my closest mentors, Dr. Adira Landry, forced me to answer a tough question. Who is this really for? She told me. When you figure that out, write to them and let everyone else read it. I realized I was in a unique place. I chose to speak to that little black boy I was as a child. Ultimately, I wrote an origin story, something Lake Charles will be proud of and something medicine needs. Here is my origin story. I'm becoming what I did not have as a child. I didn't have quality health care. I didn't have mentorship. I didn't have mental health advocates. To be honest, I can't remember my mom or anyone else for that matter asking me what was going on in my body or my mind. Everyone was busy. My little sister and I were raised by a single mother. Aside from each other, we pretty much didn't have anything. Candles weren't lit for ambiance. Instead, they were lit because of non-payment of our light bill. Dishwashing liquid really was multi-purpose in our house. We used it for our baths, detergent for our laundry, and of course for our dishes. In the afternoons, our family expeditions were comprised of us taking a stroll behind the Sam's Club, just to dumpster dive for a little while. For partially frozen DiGiorno pizzas, not yet rotten fruit, and loaves of bread. I can remember climbing in that dumpster and looking back at my mother and grandmother, looking at their eyes and seeing the hope that we would find something. It
It's taken me nearly 18 years to find something worth diving for. The chance to treat mental and physical illness. The route to becoming a physician from dumpster diving has been quite tumultuous. I was certain I would become the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy after enlisting at 17 years old. After active duty, becoming a social worker made the most sense. So I headed over to Southern University. At another point, becoming a Howard Hughes Medical Institute investigator made sense, focusing on prostate cancer in minoritized populations. I've taken a step back and asked myself, what is it that I really want? What am I looking for? I realized I want nothing more than a return to my community as an asset. I made a promise to my mother that I would be a bold leader for change. 18 years removed from high school, I applied to residency. This time, with every intention to address physical and mental illness in children and their families. This journey is about them being seen and them being heard from every vantage point, the mind, the body, and the soul. Becoming a pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, and child and adolescent psychiatrist, it's about filling a void that I didn't have when I was a child. Residency is necessary for me to become that physical and mental health advocacy asset that the communities I came from truly need. I want the type of clinical training that teaches me to provide high-quality health care to many of the minoritized pediatric and adolescent populations from which I came. The kind of training steeped in cultural competence. I want patients to feel seen. I want the concerns to feel heard. I want the worries to be addressed. And I want them to feel like their existence in every form matters. Triple board residency is not about a title or a job. This is a calling. This is personal. The goal is to bring the children the health care my homies and I needed when we were growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I dream of the day that my patients walk into the clinic and know the focus is singularly on them and what they need. Now, I'm witnessing what it's like to grow up, not having to rummage through the junk of poverty. My children, Malia and Melina, are growing up in a healthy and nurturing environment. They're not dumpster diving for their self-esteem, nor are they dumpster diving for their dinner. They're not fighting for their place in the world. They're living whole, positive, nurtured lives. This is what I want for my patients. I'll be honest, poverty truly did a number on me. I wrestle with the idea of worth. Not because I'm lacking or that I don't understand the mechanisms of protein modifications in oncogenic settings, but because the idea of worth for me is something that's opposite of my childhood. I want to provide what I needed during my origin. Someone concerned about what was going on in my mind and what was going on in my body. To do just that, I need the training to become what my beginnings so desperately needed: a physical and mental health advocate and a bold leader for change.
Come on, man. I'm proud of you, black 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 man. A few months ago, I began my residency. Not only am I the first black man to do a triple board residency at Indiana University, I was the only black man to match in the triple board residency in 2022. I'm breaking those exact same barriers my community told me I could. Not for clout, but for us. I'll soon be able to be that culturally competent physician I spoke about. I'm bringing this origin story, awareness, advocacy, culture, and dedication with me because that is what is needed to be a bold leader for change. The goal of this piece is to start a conversation around what the next generation of physicians need to come from, how vital our lived experience is to the work we will do as clinicians, and how much the leaders of medicine have to learn about what the next physician can and will look like.
I'm proud of you, black man.
I'm proud of you, black man.